I think you know this by now, but we couldn't stand you. Mm-hmm. Like, not even a little bit. And I'm glad you're smiling and not punching me in the head right now. Right out of the gate, I mean, we're going to get into the here and now a little bit later, but I know people are curious to know what you're making of Philadelphia in the very brief time you've been here so far.
So it's been great for me and my family being here. You know, we quickly have settled. We're living in the city. We're trying to you know, really dive into the community right away, get to know Philly, what Philly's about. And I got to tell you, the food scene here is it's unbelievable. We've been spoiled, hitting up a bunch of different restaurants and just trying to do this city living. I've never lived in an actual city like this, so it's exciting.
We'll get to why we're better than Boston like later, but you know we pretty much know it for the most part. But I mentioned words like competition. I mentioned words like determination, adversity. And you're someone that has always wanted to compete through adversity. And from what I understand, your mom is actually on the record with saying that you're someone that when you were learning the sport of basketball, you wanted to throw yourself into it. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so you know, I started playing the game. My dad played professional basketball, and when I started to play, my mom wanted me to play baseball. I started to play baseball at a very young age, and I loved the game. But then the more I got to watch my dad play, basketball really sparked interest in me, and I told her that, and she wanted me to be a baseball player. She was disappointed. She's like, well, you know, if you're gonna be a basketball player, I want you to be, you know, to be great at it. And I was like, I want to learn the fundamentals of the game. I want to learn how to play the game the right way. So I lived in Santo Domingo at the time, in Dominican Republic. So she took me to a basketball academy over there, and from 6, 7 years old, I started to, you know, learn about the fundamentals of the game and all those things, and that really helped me. And I just fell in love with the game right away. Just the fact of playing on a team, being part of something more than an individual, really appealed to me. And from then on, I just, you know, continued to play.
How old were you when you started shifting your attention more to basketball than baseball?
Probably about real early, like 10 years old. I kind of, you know, I was out there. I always tell this story, but I was out in the baseball diamond because I was pretty good. So I was playing with older kids, probably 3, 4 years older than me in baseball, and we're catching grounders, practicing, and it's like 95 degrees outside, sunny, and I'm looking at these kids, and I just keep getting these ground balls, throwing them to first, and I'm like I'm gonna finish this practice. I'm not made for this. It's just not gonna work for me. So that's kind of when I realized that I needed to, you know, just focus on basketball.
Let me play indoors in shade for the most part, hopefully.
For once I got to the U.S., because in Dominican you still play outdoors, concrete. You know, it's still sunny, like a bunch of stuff, but it was just different. Like, you know, but baseball was, you know, it's a longer game, it's a slower game, and even though I enjoy watching it, to play it, I enjoy playing basketball.
So you mentioned, and I'm sure some of you knew already, born in the Dominican Republic, and then you come to, of all places from the DR, you come to Michigan. A little bit of a different climate for those that have never been to Michigan. It's not at all like the Dominican Republic. What was that transition like? Because you were, what, 14 years old?
14 years old. So my dad moved to Michigan. He remarried a lady from Michigan, and he settled there. So I came to the States, and, you know, 14, freshman in high school. I was just very excited about the opportunity. And for me, it was actually kind of exciting, get to see snow, you know, go out there and do those things. Like, for me, that was a big deal. But you know, I was just thinking about the opportunity at the time. I was like, man, I'm here. I get to play high school basketball here and hopefully get an opportunity to play college basketball. That was my goal, to get a scholarship and play college basketball. So it was a big transition, but I was happy about it.
No, you focused on your basketball fundamentals, and sooner or later, obviously you get into high school and all that, and then you get into college. When did you know that you had what it took to just be a college athlete?
In college, early. I'd probably say within the first couple months, I felt like I was going to have a chance to help our team. Coach Donovan really helped me a lot, teaching me even more fundamentals, more concepts about the game, and not only him, he had a great coaching staff over there, but all the assistant coaches really helping me, and I really came a long way. Like I came from probably not going to play my freshman year to starting and having an impact and being one of the key pieces for that team.
Certainly incredible. And then a couple of years later, ends up Boston starts calling. And you end up in Boston, yet another transition for you. And for anyone that's even a little bit well-traveled throughout the United States, the Northeast corridor cities are a little bit different than the southern cities. When it comes to, we tend to be brutally honest. You tend to know exactly where you stand with us at the exact moment. This isn't even Philadelphia yet, this is Boston. So what was it like now making that transition to go to Boston to play for the Celtics?
Yeah, it was a big transition. It was a big transition for me. Everything in Atlanta was going great for me, but I understood that if that I had a great opportunity in Boston, at the time, and again, my faith played a lot of part into it, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna make the most of it. And when I got there, definitely different expectations. The fan base has a certain level of expectation. People are really passionate. They really care about their team, and those were things that I identified right away. They expect you. With me coming in there with a large contract and different things, they expected great things out of me, and statistically, and one of the things that before I even committed there, Danny Ainge and Coach Stevens told me was like, listen, we understand what you bring to a team, all the intangibles that you have. As long as that we're winning, and as long as you're, don't worry about the numbers, you're gonna be fine. And don't worry about, the heat that you're gonna get from people and all the criticism and all that stuff. We have your back. We support you. We got you here because we want you. We believe in you, and we want you to do great things. And that was that. So hearing that from the organization really gave me peace of mind and allowed me to go out there and just, play.
I'm sure that whenever you come into any new job, no matter if it's the NBA or you're working in sales or whatever it might be, people always are trying to manage your expectations. So front office people like Danny Ainge could do that, a head coach like Brad Stevens. What did you hear from the fans while you were in Boston?
Yeah, so I learned very early in my NBA career, before even I got to Boston, was like, don't read the media, good or bad. That's the reality. Don't listen to shows. Just focus on your game, and your life will be easier. You'll be better. For me, for my sanity, my stability, it's like just kind of stay away. Every now and then you would hear something trickle. Like, you would read something that somebody would say something, oh, he's got to step it up, or he's not doing this, or he's not doing that. But I'm not looking for that stuff. So people could have been trashing me all over the place, and I wasn't really aware of it. And I would see a reporter that maybe said something bad about me, and I'd be like, hey, how's it going? You doing all right? How's your family? And they're looking at me like I'm going to say something, but I really had no idea if he's talking bad about me, because, my whole goal was always like, man, let's get the team going. Let's win, and that's what I care about. And the first year there, we were able to finish with the best record in the East. Got the number 1 seed and went to the conference finals. Lost to a really good LeBron James team. So that was that. That's the reality. But that was my approach.
So in the next segment, we're obviously going to focus more on now your time in Philadelphia. But while we're talking about your time in Boston, which I'm sure you know by now is a huge rival to the 76ers, while you're playing against them as a member of the Celtics, what was it like to face this? What are your takeaways from playing against the 76ers?
It was always a very gritty, team, physical team. You know, playing hard. I always remember T.J. McConnell just. As soon as you walked out on the floor, he was just all over the place, and energy and toughness. I really, you know, admired him, you know, from afar and everything that he brought. And then I always saw, you know, the potential of a Joel and a Ben. And then, you know, it was just interesting to see. But it was always every time you play Philly, you knew it was going to be a battle. It was going to be feisty. It was going to be physical. And I always respected that.
Now, when it comes to a guy like Joel Embiid playing against him, I think you know this by now, but we couldn't stand you. Mm-hmm. Like, not even a little bit. And I'm glad you're smiling and not punching me in the head right now, but the way you played against Joel Embiid was exactly how we didn't want to see people play against Joel Embiid. Mm-hmm. What was it, without giving away too much game plan, I guess, what was it like to play against him and just know that you were able to either have real estate in a guy's head or you just knew how to DM up the right way?
Yeah, I mean, I just, you know, my whole thing was always, you know, I always play to win. I always play to win and compete. And for me, it was always just preparing the best way that I could to, you know, to face him. It wasn't necessarily only just me. I mean, I did a good job, but like we had Aaron Baines, that's not there anymore either, and he was another person that was great defending him, and that knew how to do it. And like I said, I was just competing. You know, when you're out there competing, you're doing what you have to do. You're looking at tendencies, things that he wants to do, and trying to take those away. And that's what I did. But I always, you know, recognize, you know, how special that he was. And I honestly never thought that I would be playing next to him. Like, I honestly never thought that, but I always, you know, respected his game from afar.
Al, what's the biggest challenge you face balancing home life as a father and being an NBA player?
The biggest challenge for me, it's I have 3 kids, and it's the travel. You know, as much as, you know, I enjoy, you know, traveling and doing this part of the job, but you know, with my kids, the older they start to get, you know, the more they notice when I'm gone, and they're asking me, how many days are you going this time? And my son's always checks the size of my suitcase. Like, if he sees that I got like a carry-on, he knows that it's a quick trip, so he's happy. But then when he sees that it's like a big bag, West Coast trip, he's not very happy. So for me, really, you know, when I'm home, it's like practice, treatments, spending time with the family. If I have games, but as much time as I can, I try to, you know, give, you know, time to my kids, whether it's taking them to the park or doing something, but really trying to give them time when I'm here, because it's difficult. And as the season goes on and the playoffs get closer, it gets more busy for me, you know. So it's just really the time that I have with them, trying to make it quality time. That's my biggest thing.
How challenging is it to come into the locker room as a veteran player, but coming to a new team where there's almost established leadership already in the room? What was that like for you, and you know, where does your role from a leadership perspective stand today?
Yeah, I mean, you know, even though we have younger guys, but like you said, the leadership has been established here to some degree. And, you know, Joel is the guy that's been here the longest, and he's the guy that we kind of look up to. And he's not very vocal, but when he does speak, you know, everybody has to listen and pay attention to what he has to say. And for me I'm coming in here trying to help our group, trying to help him, and see any way that I can have an impact. So you know, it's been a lot of learning for me these first few months, just seeing how the culture is here, seeing the things that we're trying to do, and really trying to support coach, support, you know, our guys, and trying to help our guys, especially our younger guys, trying to help them with little things about the game, especially defensively. You know, we have to make sure that we're a great defensive team. You know, if we're great on defense, that's what's going to give us a chance, you know, every night to be able to win games.
So you just talked about Ben, you just talked about Joel Embiid a little bit. Let's talk about us, the city of Philadelphia. How have we been so far? Do you have any crazy interactions with any of our millions of crazy fans?
Man, fans have, they've been really good to me. They've been since the first day I got here. I told you I'm living in the city, so I'm walking around, and the first day that I got here, people from different places popping out of shops and like stuff like that, saying welcome, and they're excited to have me here, and it's been, I definitely felt the love. Like it's been very positive. It's been good with me, obviously I know right now we're going through ups and downs in the season, but outside in the streets, it's been good. It's been good. I've been embraced, I feel like.
Okay. How great has Al Horford been tonight, folks? We'll be rooting for you the rest of the way. Welcome to Philadelphia. It's been a blast watching you, man, and just keep it coming. We know everything will come together soon, and you guys will take us on a nice little run.
Hang in there. We're going to get it. We're going to get it. Go Sixers.